It's Missing Real with Mike Darrigo. Hope you enjoy the ride.
I gotta hand it to you. It's the best mindfuck yet. Well, thank you for those words of praise, Arnold. And hello, everybody. It's me again, Mike Darrigo, with Missing Real. Today's episode is about 1990s sci-fi blockbuster Total Recall, if you recall, unless it was implanted and never actually was in your experience, if you never actually saw the movie, but you just were programmed to think you, I don't know. And all this implant memory crap, yeah, it's sort of reminiscent of a lot of those Philip K. Dick stories. As a matter of fact, this was based on a Philip K. Dick story from 1966 called We Can Remember It For You Wholesale. And Philip K. Dick, of course, gave us stories that were adapted into great movies like Blade Runner and Minority Report. And you all know this stuff. You're all film aficionados like me, right? And you know this stuff. So let's just get on with the stuff you don't know, but you probably do anyway, or had implanted. The screenplay for this Total Recall was also worked on by a couple of other great people who worked on Alien, Ronald Shusett and Dan O'Bannon. So far we're in pretty good hands, right? You know, this ought to be a great movie. You know, when it first came along, it was just some mysterious poster with Arnold's head floating in space and this black pyramid, and if someone stole your mind, would you know it, or something like that. I don't know, but I'd kill them. I'd crush them. So yeah, this was like a pretty interesting and mysterious looking film, but it looked awesome. It was directed by Paul Verhoeven, this Dutch director who began his career in some early films with Rutger Hauer, like Soldier of Orange and Turkish Delight, until he started breaking into the U.S. film industry and giving us one of the all-time classics, RoboCop, the first one. And, you know, later on would bring us Basic Instinct and Starship Troopers and, of course, the all-time cinematic masterpiece, Showgirls. Great movies, man. And Paul Verhoeven himself is kind of a character. You know, if you ever listen to his commentaries on the movie, he's very animated. He's very, very Dutch. He's very animated. And I want to take the monster and I go, and attacking you. I direct the actors and they know what to do. It's great. You know, he's really funny to listen to. More entertaining than the movie sometimes. He's like always pulling out all the stops with the violence and things like that. So, you know, he has a style. All of his movies are like hard R ratings, and this one is no exception. There's plenty of blood, but it's a very intelligent movie too. It's got a lot of cool, you know, sci-fi trappings and colonization of other planets and atmospheric things and gravity and stuff. You know, science. You know, it's like a little bit like Star Trek, but with lots of muscles and good one-liners when I kill people. And we'll hear lots of those later, too. This is a great movie. All right, so, yeah, he's done some great films. This is, like, one of his all-time best. And probably Arnold's, like, most excellent movie that doesn't feature, you know, Skynet and the future and all that. Well, it is in the future, but different kind of future. But it begins with him dreaming. He's on Mars, right? He's in a spacesuit, and he's got a girl with him, and they're looking at each other, and they're in love. But then he slips on a rock. Slips down this incline and breaks his helmet, and the atmosphere comes in and he's decompressing, but then he wakes up next to Sharon Stone. Not bad. So yeah, he's in bed with Sharon Stone and they're married apparently, and you know, his life is pretty ordinary, and he always talks about, let's move to Mars, like, you know, because Earth is so boring or polluted or overpopulated. We don't see too much of it, but it looks, you know, kind of like Earth, you know, just with like holograms on the wall, and, you know, he has like very sloppy kitchen and a little hand blender, so it doesn't look very high tech to me. But maybe that's because, you know, his job is he's a construction worker, and he just goes there with a jackhammer, just breaking rocks and stuff. You know, usually he could just do that with his fists, but he's using, you know, technology here. So, like, that's it. But he really wants to know about Mars and keeps nagging Sharon Stone about it. So he talks to his buddy, Harry, you ever heard the recall? What? Oh, recall. Yeah, don't go there, pal. They fuck with your brain. You get lobotomized. Although in your case, not much loss. Oh, I guess you're right. Recall is a company that implants these fake memories into your mind. In case you have a really boring life and you can't afford to do anything cool, it'll seem like you've done these cool things that your shitty life doesn't allow you to afford to do. So yeah, so Arnold, stubbornly, he visits this Recall place and, it's a nice little office and they give him a little interview and stuff. Like, they show him this listing of different identities that he could be when he's on his vacation that he doesn't go on. And let me see. Cybernetic organism? Nah, not for me. What the hell is that? Pregnant man? Who come up with that idiot idea? Pregnant man. Forget that. Huh? What's this? I don't want to be an Irish talk show host. What is this Conan crap? Governor of California? I don't like politics. What else you got here? Come on. Spending hard-earned money here that I earned with a jackhammer. Oh, secret agent. Okay, I do that. But shh, don't tell anyone. So yeah, that's going to be the thing they implant into his head. So they're getting ready they stick him in this big chair with all these circuits on it. But then he starts going ape shit. You blew my cover! Because actually, he is a secret agent and they pop his memory cap and it's all this sci-fi jargon. Don't worry if you don't understand. So, he starts fighting and being violent and doing all those Arnold-y things. Like beating up all the doctors and the lab techs and they get the shooting like with 15 shots of tranquilizer. Refill, please. Finally calms down. You can't do a simple implant. He's just acting out his spy thing.
We haven't implanted it yet.
So he really was a spy. He's really been to Mars. Because on Mars, there are all these factions warring against Cohagen. He's in charge of the colonies. He rations out all of the breathable air and stuff. And there's all these mutants that got fucked up because the air is so bad on Mars. And they start sprouting extra limbs and tits and things. And they're fighting for their rights. And the rebellion and the resistance, is all happening on Mars. A lot of fighting. But Arnold, of course, he wants the action. That's probably why he wants to go to Mars, right? All right, stick him in a Johnny cab. So he wakes up in a Johnny cab. What's a Johnny cab? A Johnny cab is like an automated cab with a plastic driver.
And his voice is Robert Picardo. Robert Picardo played the holographic doctor in Star Trek Voyager, as you may remember. Please state the nature of the medical emergency.
I don't have a medical emergency. Where the hell am I?
You're in a Johnny cab. The door opened. You got in.
What the hell am I doing here? Who are you? And what's the fare? And how much to JFK? And you could have any music you could play?
Not really. My library is quite limited. I can sing for you if you like.
No, that's okay. Maybe I will instead. So he drops off Arnold, and he's about to go home, but then he meets his buddies from work. How was your trip to Mars? Harry, what are you doing here? Come on, let's go take a walk. And a whole bunch of guys surround him like, what's going on? What the fuck did I do wrong? Tell me. You blabbed, Quaid. You blabbed about Mars. I've never been to Mars. Whatever. They have a big fight. There's violence and gunshots and cracking people's heads in his armpit, snapping some necks. Lots of violence. Shoots everybody. There's blood everywhere. And of course, he just drops the gun on the floor like an idiot and runs away. Goes home to Laurie, his wife, Sharon Stone. And she's practicing her tennis moves in front of a holographic tennis instructor. These guys tried to kill me.
What?
I went to Recall after work, you see. And
You went to those brain butchers?
That's okay. Not much to butcher in here. But anyway, I killed them. He shows her the blood on his fingers.
I'm gonna call the doctor.
Don't call anyone, especially Michael Ironside. I don't like him, especially in Scanners. He scared me. He blows up people's heads and their brains explode. I don't like him. I would rather crush other people's brains with my fist. So, of course, he dials up this vid phone and see the TV screen turns and hello. Michael Ironside appears on screen. So, Michael Ironside, this really cool Canadian actor, always played a lot of bad guys and badasses. Of course, he was in Cronenberg's Scanners as terrific. Visiting Hours, lots of shit. He was even in one of those Terminator movies later on, but him and Arnold never met in it. So he's Sharon Stone's partner, I guess, not just in crime, but, Sharon Stone turns off the lights and starts shooting at Arnold. Laurie, get out! He's too stupid to figure it out. He flicks on the light. It's really her. Why are you doing this, Laurie? Kicks him in the balls a couple of times. They have a fight. She reaches for an ice pick. Oh, no, you don't. I saw that movie. And then he subdues her. Talk! I'm not your wife! Bullshit. I remember I have the wedding album and everything.
It's all fake. It's all implants. Your whole life is just a dream.
If I'm not me, then who the hell am I?
Jean-Claude Van Damme. I don't give a shit.
Then he looks and sees that they're coming through the lobby. Clever girl. Punches her out. Nice knowing you. Although when I see Basic Instinct, I think I know you a little bit better. There's a big chase, goes into the subway. Everyone's shooting and chasing him, and he goes on an escalator, and this guy that he has to grab and uses him as a human shield. Pretty much every bullet fired in this scene goes into this one poor guy. And he throws him. They step on him and squish, all the blood comes out. You know, the gratuitous violence is at play here. Verhoeven just loves it. You know, if it isn't gratuitous violence, it's gratuitous nudity in Showgirls, but... yeah, there was blood in that too, actually, just a little bit. All right, anyway, getting back to Total Recall, yeah. All right, he finds a suitcase that someone leaves him and has, like, information and stuff in it. And he has to get a Johnny cab to take him somewhere remote. Of course,
the Johnny cab doesn't get along very well with him.
And there's a chase going on, and they're trying to kill him. Drive!
Can you please state the destination?
Shit!
I'm not familiar with that address.
He rips the Johnny cab's head off. And then he starts driving it himself with the little joystick. He parks at this warehouse.
The fare will be 25 credits, please.
Sue me, dickhead. The cab tries to kill him. Just blows up for no reason.
Hope you enjoy the ride.
So yeah, he's in this factory, and he has a suitcase that somebody gave him, like, to pick up, you know, one of his old contacts from his spy days. And he sees himself on the TV. He says, "Get ready for the big surprise. You are not you. You're me." No shit. So this is mind-boggling already, even for Arnold. So he has to pull this tracking device out of his head by sticking this thing up his nose. It stretches his whole nose out, and we have these amazing, almost real-looking fake Arnold head effects by Rob Bottin. Of course, gave us all the gooey stuff from John Carpenter's The Thing, so we love him. So yeah, Arnold pulls the thing out of his head, and he gives it to the rats to eat, to nibble on a piece of chocolate, and, you know, divert the guys who are chasing him, and Ironside and friends are basically shooting at a bunch of rats. So he gets away, and they shoot his laptop, and before it's destroyed, it gives us this vital piece of information. Get your ass to Mars. Get your ass to Mars. Get your ass to Mars. So Arnold gets to Mars, wearing this disguise of this big woman, like a big high-tech disguise thing, and it malfunctions. Like,
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Ironside and everybody's already on Mars looking for him, because they know he went there. Get her! Quaid! And there's a shootout inside the Mars bubble, which is very stupid because somebody pops the dome, and all the air starts rushing out. And they're all flying and hanging on by their fingertips. This sucks. But then somebody shuts the doors, he gets away finally, hops on a train, and on this train, he sees this kind of like burly-looking, bearded country western guy, Mickey Jones, who you will instantly recognize as being Michael Ironside's buddy in the V series. But he's really a country western singer. He just happened to be on Mars that day, probably doing a couple of shows for, you know, some festival out there or whatever, along with 30 Seconds to Mars or some other bands like that, you know. Has like 1 or 2 lines. You mean that pyramid stuff? You think? I don't know. I don't think. What's a pyramid? So Arnold goes into this, like, this Martian colony. He now has a different mode of transportation than Johnny Cab. Hey, man, you need a cab? I'm Benny. I got 5 kids to feed. So he gets in cab. Welcome to Mars, man. Shit's blowing up everywhere. But while this is all starting up, we see Michael Ironside reporting to his boss, Cohagen, played by Ronnie Cox. Ronnie Cox excels at playing like the angry old man type. So he's very, very pissy, and he gives Ironside a dressing down too. He's like, "But I thought, who told you to think? I don't give you enough information to think. You do what you're told. That's what you do." Starts using his scanning shit. No, he doesn't do it. I gotta stop this shit, the scanning shit. He should use an Uzi instead. He's better with Uzis. It's cool. All right, better shut your mouth talking about me like that. Ironside's like the coolest Canadian, man. He is, you know, next to Shatner, maybe, and Bryan Adams, and Rush. Like, the coolest dude to ever come out of Canada. But yeah, he's in this movie, and he always played bad guys, and unfortunately he has a boss he has to answer to. It's kind of like Darth Vader and the Emperor, you know? It's like somebody who you have to just shut the fuck up and obey once in a while, you know? Which sucks. But yeah, moving on with the plot, you know, Arnold is going around Mars trying to find his contact, this prostitute, Melina, who works in Venusville. In Venusville, there's all sorts of characters, very interesting people. There's a girl with 3 tits, which is amazing, you know, and this actress who played this triple tit is Lycia Naff, who would also be seen in some episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. Of course, she was wearing a lot more clothing in that, because otherwise, you know, Geordie LaForge might have a coolant leak. He looks at that, you know? His visor might pop off. He can't comprehend what he's seeing. Like, wait, there's one breast too many. I better call Data. So yeah, then besides that, also in this Venusville place is a mutant dude played by Dean Norris, who, of course, is Agent Hank Schrader from Breaking Bad. So he's just got like half a face covered in prosthetics here, and probably wouldn't be a very good DEA agent, but he's in this movie a little bit. He's cool. And Arnold goes there. He finds Melina, and she's played by Rachel Ticotin, who is like the other chick in the movie, who's like the competition for Sharon Stone. But I would have stuck with Stone myself personally back then. Yeah, she was quite fetching, but Rachel Ticotin, pretty beautiful as well. And she's got a problem with Arnold because he doesn't remember. I don't remember you.
Yeah, even after all you paid?
I don't know what we did, but I don't know. I have a fake wife back at home. She's played by Sharon Stone. All right, we have to fix this right now. We have to get your brain readjusted. You have to take you to this psychic mutant called Quato. And he's also like the head of the resistance there that's trying to fight for everyone's rights on Mars and overthrow Cohagen. So, Arnold has to find him and like get something that's implanted in his brain dug out to help, screw over Cohagen and his regime. Yeah? You following so far? Sharon Stone visits him back again, so it appears. It's like,
I love you.
And she brings a doctor from Recall.
And Mr. Quaid, do you really think that you're on Mars? You're just asleep. Yes, if you swallow this pill, you'll wake up. Your wife loves you, blah, 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 blah. And you'll be like nothing ever happened, so swallow.
Okay, so if I were to shoot you, if this is just a dream, it wouldn't even matter, would it?
No, but you would have a lot of remorse when you woke up.
That's okay. No, I dream about shooting people all the time. It's perfectly normal. Start shooting everyone.
Now you've done it.
Bunch of guys breaks through the wall. Fist fight again. Arnold gets kicked in the nuts. I don't know if maybe Rob Bottin did some prosthetic balls for Arnold, but at the same time, it's like, it looks very painful.
You know how much I hate this fucking planet.
So yeah, he's getting dragged off, and of course, Melina rescues them. Her and Sharon Stone have a little kick-off and a little fight. Sharon Stone's about to slit her throat there, and then Arnold stops her.
Honey, you wouldn't hurt me. After all, we're married.
Consider that a divorce. Oh, no, wait. Get that through your head. That's better, right? Maybe add it to the script. What else is there? Till death did we part. All right, come on, let's go. So they're running, and Ironside finds Sharon Stone dead. And that's his girl, so he's pissed. And he wants to shoot more holes in the dome. No, you cracked the dome. He's all angry, chasing after them. So then they go through the tunnels, and there's Benny back there to get them. Oh man, I ain't going in circles. You got 5 kids to feed. So he gets to this cave. He sees this guy there with Quato, and he just basically open up his shirt. And like there's this other mutant half-head guy with little fingers and shit sticking off of his torso. Kind of looks like Basket Case, if you've ever seen that cult horror movie. Pretty much the same shit, but slightly higher budget and more articulate. So Quato is this little puppet thing sticking out of the guy's belly. Quaid, open your mind. Open your mind. All right, just go in there now. Get my memories out. So then he's extracting these memories from Arnold, and you see there's like these things built by aliens in the center of the planet, and he will melt the core and then releases all the oxygen and a lot of science stuff that I don't understand. This is the way to give Mars an atmosphere that everyone can breathe in, and then Cohagen's out of business, you see, right? While they're doing this little psychic Jedi mind trick, Vulcan mind meld, whatever thing they're doing, these big drill things come through the wall. They've been found out because Benny is a rat. Hey man, I got 4 kids to feed. What happened to number 5? Oh, so you can't count. I ain't got no kids. Man, I'm impotent. I ain't even got a dick. I'm a mutant. Okay, too much information. Well, if you did have kids, I'd make them all orphans right now. And of course, Arnold does kill them later on. So they get captured, and they're going to put Arnold's head back the way it was because he's really not Quaid. He's actually Hauser, which is like a different kind of asshole, really. He's an asshole who works for Cohagen. We're going to have to switch you back to your old identity. Fuck you. You're an asshole. Cohagen's like stopping the airflow to Venusville because he's going to kill off all the mutants. There's no more resistance. That's it. The chase scenes are over. Let's just kill them all. Give those people air. So they're all suffocating there until Arnold saves the day. But they're going to reprogram Arnold back to being the old Arnold. And Ironside is like, hey, when this is over, will he remember any of this? Nah. See you at the party. Because they're having a party later after everything's done and the bad guys win. We never get to have that party, unfortunately. But when Arnold breaks free, of course, because he always does, he always breaks free of everything. Because he's so strong, he can break out of pretty much anything. You cannot chain this guy. He's a beast. He's Hercules. He's unchained. So he's like fighting off all these other assholes and impaling them with the rods and things from the recall chair machine. And they're all going around and chasing each other again. And they fight more and they kill more bad guys. And oh gosh, I almost forgot the most important part, man. So yeah, after these fights and when Arnold's trying to get through the tunnels and he runs into Benny again. It's Benny. I'm gonna drill you, man. I'm gonna crush you. I'm coming, baby. So Arnold goes around the side of the cab with his little hand drill and he starts sticking it through. This is the best scene in the whole damn movie. He takes the hand drill and Benny's like, where the fuck are you? And Arnold sticks the drill through the side of the cab. You see the little drill bit coming through. And of course, the famous best line of all time, screw you! Kills him. That's the best way. You have to deliver the line perfectly in sync with the killing technique. And it has to have like a pun in there or something. It's just the art of one-liners. And Ironside's chasing him around and they go through these mines and stuff. And eventually they get on this elevator and they start having a fight on the elevator. He flips Ironside over. He's hanging off the edge. And as the elevator is going up, it's approaching this ledge. And if he doesn't get back inside, too late, loses his arms and falls over. And Arnold's holding his arms and throws him back. See you at the party, Richter. Let me give you a hand. Oh, wait. I just killed an unarmed man. Ah, that's a good one. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. And then you have to go to this little button that you have to do the Vulcan salute to press properly, and then it starts the reactor and lets out the air, but Cohagen is they're all pissed off.
Don't touch that, what are you trying to do? Who gives a shit about these stupid mutants? I'll be home in time for cornflakes.
And then, of course, the button gets pressed anyway. He throws a bomb. He wants to blow the shit up, but the bomb goes off too nearby, and it breaks the dome. Air goes off, and everyone gets sucked out again, and by the time Arnold lands, and him and Melina are like just about to die and decompress, but Cohagen went out first, so he had more exposure. He's like, his eyes are bulging out, blows up out there. But just before Arnold and Rachel Ticotin's prosthetic dummies, explode, the air comes out of the planet, and the atmosphere forms, and everybody's fine. And I just had a terrible thought. What if this isn't real?
Well, you better kiss me before you wake up.
Yeah, before I wake up next to Sharon Stone. Okay, I don't care. So yeah, Total Recall ended. Great freaking movie, man. I loved it. It was great. And I guess a lot of other people thought it was great too, because in 2012, there was a remake directed by Len Wiseman. The guy did a whole bunch of Underworld movies and a couple of videos by Megadeth and En Vogue to boot. So yeah, it's got quite a resume there. Plus, Len Wiseman happened to be married to the lovely Kate Beckinsale, so she's in the Total Recall remake, and it's got Colin Farrell playing the lead role. And of course, as usual, Colin Farrell does not speak with his Irish accent, which sucks, man, because it's kind of like Arnold adopting an American accent for every movie. Like, why would you do that, man? Keep the damn accent. That's part of your charm. But, we just get Colin Farrell talking like this, like a regular American guy, because all these movies are American. But yeah, it would have been a whole lot better, If I'm not me, then who the hell am I? I don't know. Gotta find out. I get down to the pub, have some Guinness, and find out. It sucks, man. It would be much better. But, you have to have this movie in widescreen so you could see all of Colin Farrell's eyebrows. But, yeah, it was an awesome movie, too. I thought it was excellent, man. It has, like, a slightly different story about it. There's really no Mars in it, but it's really about Earth, and Earth has been, like, decimated by, like, chemical warfare, and there's just, like, two parts of the world that are still populated. There's the British section, and then there's the colony, which is where all the poor-ass people live. And there's this big tunnel through the core that goes through the planet and to get from one side to the other. So yeah, the movie, like the set design is cool. It's very, very dark. It almost looks like kind of like Blade Runner in Venice, because people are like paddling little boats around and there's like all these neon lights and very overpopulated. It rains a lot, but it looks awesome. It's like a great looking film. It doesn't look at all like the 1990 Total Recall, but it has about the same basic idea about getting brainwashed and the identity cover-up of being a spy and things like that. And there's also a Cohagen, and this one is played by Bryan Cranston. So it's too bad he doesn't run into that little mutant dude played by Hank, right, from the other Total Recall. That would have been pretty neat, but that doesn't happen. So Colin Farrell's there. And the Recall actual place that he goes to looks more like a high-end Japanese restaurant. And it's got the guy that hooks him up to the machine and implants his shit is John Cho, which is cool. Took a little break from his Sulu duties to be in this movie. And there's a few little winks to the original Total Recall. You got triple tits and you got 2 weeks. They're there, but they're used slightly differently. They don't play into the plot line quite the same way, but it's fun. They're there just like as a little in joke. And another cool thing that's different about this film is that Kate Beckinsale actually plays a combination of Laurie and Richter. Instead of, having those 2 characters, because first she's the wife, and then she's the assassin trying to kill Quaid. So she does everything, it's just, she's talking as Laurie for a while, then all of a sudden when she reveals herself to be the spy, all of a sudden she gets her English accent back, so that's kind of cool. But when Colin Farrell gets reactivated or whatever, his brain gets reprogrammed, he's like, he doesn't become Irish again. No, that doesn't happen. I don't know why. Just doesn't. Or was that Scottish? My accents, I gotta work on my accents, I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend anyone, please. I drink a lot too. So yeah, there's some cool technology in this new Total Recall. Also, there's hand phones. I guess you can never lose your phone unless you get your hand chopped off. So if you're in a Star Wars movie, you're not gonna have a phone for very long. But yeah, they have hand phones. They can press them up against glass and see the person on the glass, which is pretty cool. But not much privacy with that, right? There's a lot of chases going on, and I guess being that, Beckinsale is the director's wife, pretty much every shot she's in, her hair is bouncing around like she's in a fucking shampoo commercial. And she's always tossing it around, looking glamorous, but also, really, good fight scenes in this movie. There's some cool flying car jumping shit, that Colin Farrell does. I guess he was jealous of Tom Cruise doing it in Minority Report, so, he wants his chance. And some other cool stuff with the cars, here, you drive. Instead of, hopping over somebody in the car, the steering wheel just shifts across the dashboard to the passenger side, and they can drive. That's so cool, man. It, makes much safer action sequences. You don't have to, climb over somebody's lap, and, if it's male, female, whatever, the sexual tension, you don't have to worry about getting stuck on the hard-on or the stick shift or anything during the crossing over process. It's just great. So yeah, there's another sequence where they get on the elevator shaft, except the elevators go everywhere. They go up, they go down, they go to different towns and stuff. How the hell does this network even map out? And which button do you press? There's 1 through 12, but across north, south, east, west. It's kind of a ridiculous sequence, but it's a whole lot of fun. We get some cool stuff when Bryan Cranston shows up. Yeah, he's pretty good in the movie, but even still, at the end of the movie, it's kind of stupid. When him and Colin Farrell sort of have a fight at the end of the movie, he only has a gun for a little bit, but then he pulls a knife on Colin Farrell. What kind of chancellor pulls a knife, man? You're supposed to be this high society, well, not really, whatever, just his social status. You shouldn't be pulling a knife out. That's kind of ghetto, ain't it? I mean, if you're Gus Fring, I guess, you want to pull out a box cutter and kill somebody, yeah, that makes a little more sense. You're a crime lord. Yeah, but Cranston pulls out a knife. You're the Chancellor and you got a knife. Chancellor Palpatine pulls out a lightsaber. That's kind of cool. But whatever happens here, yeah, it's still awesome. It's a great fight sequence, and the ending of the movie is pretty epic. It's cool. It's got a neat whole resolution about it. It's a little different from the Arnold Verhoeven Total Recall. And they're both good, so I recommend seeing them both if you haven't. It's as far as remakes go, the Len Wiseman Total Recall, Total Remake, pretty damn good. Totally stands on its own, yeah. Well, I think that's about all I got to say about these Total Recall movies here. And I'm glad that I had a chance to do this podcast about them, and I hope that they'll be more enjoyable now, having listened to my reflections and insights or implants about the movie. Well, it's been fun, and I'll be back again for another episode real soon. So thanks for listening to Missing Real.
Hope you enjoyed the ride.